The United States just made a move that could shake the entire world economy. Right now, American officials are putting extreme economic pressure on Iran. This is the country that sits on the world's biggest oil reserves. Oil is the liquid that makes cars go, planes fly, and factories work. And if something big happens to Iran's oil, the price at your local gas station could jump dramatically. Experts are now warning that global oil markets are closer to chaos than they have been in years. One mistake by either side could trigger a chain reaction that touches every family in America and beyond. This is not a drill. This is happening right now. So what exactly is going on? Why is the US suddenly pushing harder on Iran? What does this mean for your gas prices and grocery bills? And what is Tehran doing in response? I will answer all three questions today. By the end of this video, you will understand a situation that most people are only hearing bits and pieces about. You will know things your friends and family do not. And you will see why this story is far from over. Let's go back in time. Iran is a country in the Middle East. The Middle East is the region where Africa, Asia, and Europe come together. For decades, Iran and the United States have had a very difficult relationship. Think of it like two kids who have been fighting for so long that they do not even remember why the argument started. The two countries stopped talking to each other directly in 1979. That was 45 years ago. So most adults today were not even born when this conflict began. Iran sits on one of the largest pools of oil in the entire world. Oil is like liquid gold. Countries need it to run their economies. And Iran has been selling it for years, earning huge amounts of money. But the US has been trying to stop Iran from selling that oil. Why? Because the US says Iran is using that money to fund groups that threaten other countries and destabilize the Middle East. The US calls these groups proxy forces. Think of proxies like hired helpers. Iran pays other groups to do things Iran does not want to be caught doing directly. The US wants to cut off that money flow. For years, Iran had a powerful card to play. That card was oil. Iran held the only key to a door that many countries needed to walk through. If Iran decided to cut off oil shipments, prices would jump worldwide. That gave Iran bargaining power. That power is now under serious threat. Here is the first major thing happening right now. The US has started cracking down hard on countries that are still buying oil from Iran. Countries like China, which is the world's biggest buyer of oil, have been purchasing Iranian oil quietly. They use middlemen and complicated systems to avoid getting caught. But now the US Treasury Department is watching these transactions more closely than ever. The US is using financial tools to make it nearly impossible for other countries to do business with Iran without facing consequences themselves. Think of it like this. Imagine your school has a rule that if you buy candy from a kid who broke the rules, you will get detention too. The US is now making that rule much stricter and actually enforcing it. Countries that used to buy Iranian oil are now being forced to choose sides. Do they want to keep buying cheap Iranian oil? Or do they want to stay on good terms with the United States, which has the world's most powerful economy? This matters because it is putting enormous strain on Iran's government. Iran is losing the buyers it desperately needs. And without those sales, Iran is running out of money fast. The government is struggling to pay for basic things like food imports and medicine. Now here is the second major development, and this is where it gets really interesting. While the US is squeezing Iran economically, Iran is responding in a way that surprises many experts. Iran is not sitting quietly. Instead, Iran is accelerating its nuclear program. A nuclear program is when a country works to create nuclear weapons or the materials needed to make them. Nuclear weapons are the most powerful explosives humans have ever built. One bomb could destroy an entire city. Why would Iran speed up its nuclear work while being squeezed by the US? Because Iran is trying to create what experts call a deterrent. A deterrent is like a shield made of fear. The idea is simple. If Iran gets close to having a nuclear weapon, other countries will be afraid to attack or push Iran too hard. They will worry that Iran might use the bomb. So Iran uses the nuclear program as leverage, the same way a person might hold a valuable object and refuse to give it up unless they get what they want. But here is the shocking part. Intelligence reports show that Iran may now be closer to having enough material for a nuclear weapon than at any point in the past. Some estimates say Iran could have enough enriched uranium within weeks or months, not years. That is a dramatic change from just a few years ago. And the US has very few good options to stop it without triggering a much bigger conflict. But here's what nobody is talking about. While the world focuses on oil prices and nuclear weapons, there is a human crisis unfolding inside Iran that is often ignored. The economic pressure from the US is not just hitting the Iranian government. It is crushing ordinary Iranian families. The Iranian currency has lost massive value. Prices for imported goods have skyrocketed. Many Iranians cannot afford basic foods like meat, dairy, and even bread in some cases. And here is the deeper problem. When regular people suffer under economic pressure, they do not always blame the country applying the pressure. Sometimes they blame their own government for not protecting them. Over the past 2 years, Iran has seen huge protests. Young people have been marching in the streets demanding change. They are angry at their own leaders for mismanagement and for prioritizing nuclear work over their basic needs. This creates a strange situation for the US. The economic pressure might be weakening the government. But it might also be creating a situation where Iran doubles down on dangerous behavior to distract citizens from their suffering. When governments feel cornered, they sometimes do things they would not normally do. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds serious, but how does it actually affect me? Let me make this very personal. Oil prices affect everything. When oil becomes more expensive, it costs more to ship goods across the country. When shipping costs go up, stores charge more for everything from cereal to cleaning supplies. Gas for your parents' car becomes more expensive. The heating bill in winter gets higher. This is called inflation. Inflation is when prices rise so fast that your money buys less than it used to. If a conflict disrupts oil supplies from the Middle East, gas prices in America could jump by $1 per gallon or more within weeks. That might not sound like much, but for a family on a tight budget, an extra $20 at the pump every week adds up fast. That is $80 a month. That could be groceries for a small family. That could be school supplies for a whole semester. The average American family spends about $3,000 more per year when gas prices rise by $1 per gallon. That number is real. That is a real impact on real families. Beyond gas, global oil prices affect airline tickets, plastic products, and even the clothes you wear. This is not a distant problem happening to people far away. This is a chain reaction that touches your life in ways you might not even realize. So what happens next? Nobody knows for sure, but here are the two most likely paths. Scenario 1, the good path. Iran agrees to slow down its nuclear program in exchange for some relief from economic pressure. The two sides negotiate. Global oil markets stay stable. Gas prices remain manageable. This is possible because both sides have reasons to want to avoid a real conflict. The US does not want another war in the Middle East. Iran does not want its economy to completely collapse. Scenario 2, the difficult path. Negotiations fail. Iran pushes forward with its nuclear program. The US responds with even stronger measures. Middle Eastern countries get nervous and start preparing for conflict. Oil prices spike dramatically. Gas hits $5 or more per gallon. Families across America feel the pinch at the pump and in every store they visit. Both paths are possible. Smart people disagree about which one will happen. That is why staying informed matters. Here's what to remember from today. 3 things. First, the US is using economic pressure to cut off Iran's oil money and weaken its government. Second, Iran is responding by racing toward nuclear capability, using it as a shield against foreign pressure. Third, ordinary people on both sides are caught in the middle, suffering from economic hardship while their leaders play a dangerous game. So the question is, will diplomacy prevail, or will this conflict spiral into something none of us can ignore? More developments are coming fast. This story is far from finished. And if you want to understand what happens next, you need to stay tuned. If this video helped you understand something that seems confusing, subscribe now. Hit that button so you never miss the next episode. Because the world is changing by the day, and you deserve to know what is happening and why it matters to you. I will see you in the next one.